So, how old are you? How old you is? How do you feel about going live? How do you feel about making videos for your coaching business? Does it matter if you are over 40 for you? Does it matter for you? Are things different for you now that you are over 40? I want to say yes and no. First of all, I'm 56 years old, and I willingly admit that because I don't have any control over that, and I don't feel the need to hide or lie because I cannot control this fact. Born in 1970, I'm 56, going on 57. Can't do anything about it. But the thing is, when it comes down to going live or putting yourself out there, doing videos in particular, getting in front of a camera, insecurities abound no matter what your age. But many women go through a sacred period where they have less confidence in their appearance than they did previously. And look, I think this is hilarious. Less collagen, more lumps, less estrogen, less hair, more weird hairs, more wrinkles, gray hair, less vaginal fluids. These are all midlife changes, and they create a serious period of mental confusion in women, and they do in men as well, but it's different. It's different for men. But for women, I see this as a sacred time. It's the midlife transformation. And it is an opportunity to transform from a caterpillar to a butterfly. And yet, that's not how society sees it. Up until recently, whoever even used the word perimenopause before like 5 years ago? Barely anybody was using it. Then now it's gotten really, really popular. But just keep in mind that perimenopause has been happening since the beginning of like the human body, the human female body, and ain't nobody been talking about it except for the last okay, 10 years. Last 10 years, people are talking about it. So my point is that this time is incredibly confusing. We're smart today. We're smart. We are not going to beat ourselves up. So we are learning very quickly how to take something that has been historically viewed as negative and to turn that into something positive. So when a woman coach has to go in front of the camera, I think it's scary. I think it's scary because she's trying to get seen in ways that she never had to in the past. And if you're a coach today, you have to go on camera. You have to, right? You never had to go on camera for your job unless you were a news anchor or you were an actor or you were on the street and the there was an earthquake and you were on the street and the news reporter was like, hey, tell us about your experience. That was the only time we had to go in front of the camera, and now we're in front of the camera all the dang time. And now we're trying to get in front of the camera in order to get people to actually take us seriously so that they can invest their time in following us so that we can create a trustworthy environment so that they can follow us. But we are coaches. We have to eventually ask them to give us money for a service. So my point is that it's scary because we're needing to get seen in ways that we never needed to in the past. We had a regular job and now we have a business. And that business is dependent on us going live so that we can develop our audience and attract the people that we want to serve. Now, if you were raised in front of the camera, great. Okay. You're experienced. But if you're like most of us, especially those in my generation, where the only cameras we had at home weighed like 15 pounds and required you to have a VCR, right, in order to see no instant. Oh, you could see, I remember they started making the cameras with one of those flap out screens so that you could hold the camera like this and see the screen over here. You could see things. But there was none of this turning the camera at ourselves so that we could do a selfie. Man, you had to have some kind of a setup if you wanted to take a video of yourself. But whoever thought of taking video of themselves back in the 80s and the 90s? I know I didn't. I know I sure didn't. So, yeah, women coaches are are not um well, I guess men have this as an issue too. But I'm not talking about men. I don't have to talk about men. Okay. I totally went off on a tangent. I started thinking about all the men that I know who have insecurities and, what they go through. I don't know what happens in their head. I know what happens in the heads of women because number one, I am a woman, but also I work with women. That's just it. 98% of my people are women. So, yeah, women coaches, we're being told that you must be on camera, and it's just completely not natural for us because we are of a certain generation. And, it's not about dancing and making cute faces and hand gestures, whatever they do. I always look so stupid when I do this. Like, those cute girls who do this, and all they do is this, right? That's not what it's about for us. Right? It's a serious business. We went to school to get certified. You went to coaching school. You got a certificate. You had to take tests. You had to show up. You had to learn. You had to read. You had to do hours of your internship. You have a philosophy. You have intellectual property. You charge a lot of money to people to work with you. You need to be trustworthy. And at the same time, you also have to be interesting enough and compelling enough to hold the attention of the average viewer, which we are told is like only 3 seconds. Why did I say the average viewer? I'm questioning myself right now because I have to pause here. The average viewer is not actually who you're trying to hold. You're not trying to hold the average viewer. You're trying to hold your ideal clients. It's just that the average viewers kind of mess things up for us. So we have to remember when we go live that we're not going live for the multitudes. We're going live for the one woman or two or three or four who are willing to hear something that is deep and profound and moving. And those women are listening. They're not necessarily commenting. They're not necessarily reacting. They're not necessarily giving you a thumbs up. They're not necessarily sharing, okay? But they are listening. And so I'm saying that because sometimes those women seem invisible because they are not reacting or commenting. They're not helping your algorithm get boosted. The algorithm, they're not helping the algorithms boost your content so that you get seen by more people. But what they are doing is actually consuming your content. One of the reasons why I ask you to make a comment, go put in hashtag live, hashtag replay, is because those comments, as no matter how benign they are, actually sends a signal to the algorithm that the content that I am listening to has value. I want to hear this message. But keep in mind, most people don't like, they like you, but they don't like social media. They don't like the platforms. They don't like getting profiled by YouTube or by Facebook. They don't want they don't want the algorithm following them around. So they don't comment. They don't leave um, likes because then they're buying into the system that doesn't really have their best interest at heart. So look, I appreciate it when people comment and like on my stuff. I do. But I'm also very aware because I get more private messages from people than I do comments and reactions. So my point is that you need to not worry about your numbers and whether somebody is, whether you're popular. You need to just show up and put your message out there because the people that want to hear you, want to see you, are actually there watching. They are watching. They are learning from you. Don't back down because somebody who's younger or somebody who's doing more catchy stuff is getting more attention than you are. This whole thing around 3 seconds, like your first 3 seconds of any video, they're so important. You'll lose somebody 3 to 5 seconds. Like, that stuff matters, but not for you. That stuff matters for your marketing department. You should just show up and do you. Show up and do this. I come here, for example, I've chosen to go live 5 days a week at the same time each day. I'm not I'm not going to not do that. That's my commitment. But this commitment that I'm making is actually it's more about me than it is the algorithm. I do this because it is a way for me to have my thoughts come out of my mind and out into the world. When I put my thoughts into the world, they become intellectual property. I just talked about this yesterday, but this video that I'm creating, this is now my intellectual property. I'm giving it away for free. Absolutely, I am. Sure, I am. But it also is about me contributing to the world what the universe has given me. The universe has given me ideas. The universe has given me experience. The universe has given me genius. It's given you genius too. But I choose to put my genius out in 20 to 30-minute live streams Monday through Friday. And I call it the Spiritual Business Hour. By the way, welcome to the Spiritual Business Hour. But my point is, this is something that I've chosen to do, and I want you to do the same thing because this is how it begins. It begins by just doing it. You'll begin in the way that you will begin. I'm beginning in this way. For me, the spiritual business hour is a concept, but keep in mind, this is not the first time I've ever gone live, right? On a regular basis. I did this back in maybe 4 years ago. I did this similarly 2 times a week and in my group. I went live twice a week in my group for a whole year. Didn't miss anything. And what it did was it forced me, and this is why I want you to do this too. It forced me to get very clear with my thoughts. It forced me to write, like every time before I come on this live stream, I am sitting down and I am writing for about 20 to 30 minutes straight. So when I come into this session, I sound clear. Why do I sound clear? Because I've just written about my topic for the last 20 minutes. It's in my head. It's fresh. I know what I'm doing. I've already outlined it and worked it through. Also, I want you to keep in mind that, in my opinion, the more I do this, the easier it becomes and the better I get at it. I started this 6 weeks ago. 6 weeks ago, 5 days a week, I have live streamed 30, 6 times 5. I have live streamed 30 times in the last 6 weeks. There is a comfort and an ease that I have developed just by doing this for myself. And you know what? I put zero pressure on myself to get a certain number of likes or views, zero pressure. The only pressure I have is to make sure that I show up every day, I show up on time, and I show up being honest with my message. I'm not going to ever deliver something that is not authentic to who I am just so I can do something. And again, I'm sharing this with you because I want you to have this freedom. I want you to know that you going live on a daily basis is not about being perfect. It's about putting your philosophy out and developing that philosophy. And that 20 minutes that I'm not writing a script. I'm writing my philosophy. I'm going deeper. Like, why do I do that? So I write and then I think and I'm like, well, wait, where did that come from? And then I'll maybe think about a story and I'll be like, oh my gosh, this is a good example of that. This is an internal development process that I'm giving myself and that my live stream has given me. I'm so grateful. And by the way, if you're watching this and if you're a regular watcher, thank you. Thank you for watching this and receiving. And if you would share, it would be awesome. Share the link, share it in email, share it on Facebook, share it on YouTube. It's awesome. If you'd leave a comment, that's good too, right? Comment, hey, I saw you, or just even hi. That is so simple, but it's also so helpful. So today, we are going to be looking at the internal factors that are at play in women over 40 years old who have to go live on video. And today is the Spiritual Business Hour. My name is Crystal Lynn Bell. I do the Spiritual Business Hour, like I said, Monday through Friday at 2 o'clock. And it's Friday, so it's Badass Beautiful Fridays. Fridays, I look at issues of beauty, whether it's, are we beautiful? Where is our beauty gone? Why doesn't I have why doesn't I have beauty anymore? What are we doing with the skin? What's happening with collagen? But that's on the physical self, but also I like to think about, what's happening with our own divine genius, what's happening in our minds. That's also a part of this. What's happening with our businesses? What's beautiful in our business? How can we bring beauty into our business, into our workday, ritual, meditation, whatever that looks like. So, in other words, Fridays is going to be like a mixed bag, but it's definitely going to be around beauty on some level. So, I think that it gets very complicated. Our relationship with the camera gets really complicated when we get to be over 40 years old. And I think that there's an issue of identity. And so I think that a woman, when she's over 40, it's like the filters. We're using filters. We're uh there's the beauty filters, and I'm thinking about women who use major beauty filters. Like, we don't even know what your face actually looks like because you're not just doing screen enhancement. You have altered your image to the point where you're unrecognizable, right? And the thing is that it's not just about insecurity. The thing that I want you to consider is that it's a deeply conditioned response to decades of cultural messaging that basically said, you know, you're not good enough because you're getting older. The older you get, the less valuable you are. Oh my God, it's so true that's what we experience as women. We get older, our value decreases. Now, thank God there are um, there are now counter messages to that. I'm someone who delivers that message as often as I can, but that doesn't change the fact that it takes a long time to get those messages and then actually doing something with it. You may not ever do anything with it, my friend, because somebody can tell you every day that you're beautiful, you're smart, you're intelligent, but if it's not reaching that self-concept, you aren't believing it. You're not buying it. You can say the mantra 150,000 times a day. That's not going to make you believe it. You have to believe it on the inside. And I'm going to take this as an opportunity right now to tell you about the Liberated Coach Challenge. This is a free 5-day challenge that I'm offering. It starts on Monday. And here's why this is important. If today's topic is important to you, you're going to love the challenge. Why? Because on the during the challenge next week, we are going to be looking at where you currently are in your business. So the you that is now making trying to build a business, trying to be successful as a life coach, and trying to be of service, trying to build your audience, trying to earn an income. All right? Completely cool. This is awesome that this is what you're doing. And yet, how do we do that in today's market, right? There's a lot of competition. There is a lot of different platforms. There are a lot of messages out there telling you, you should do this, you should do that, you should do this, you should do that. Well, what's right for you? Because you don't know what's right for you until you're in it and you've already invested $10,000 to get this thing, to get this information for your business. So my point is that it's not about creating another strategy. Another strategy is not what you need. We need a fresh slate on the inside, and that's what the Liberated Coach Challenge is about. It's about coming up with a clean slate at the level of the self-concept, the self-image, the inner beliefs, the thought patterns, the habits, the choices that you make, the actions that you do on a daily basis. It's about changing what's inside before you implement another strategy. That's what we're going to be doing in the challenge. Like I said, it's free to join. There is a link in the comments and in the description of this video. Please check it out. Come and join me. I would love to connect with you and work through bringing in a new perspective, embodying your future self, the you who has already done all the work and who has the secret, the keys to help you actually, the keys to guide you where you need to go. All right. So I want you to be able to show up unapologetically, no matter what your age is. And I want you to be able to break free from the conditioning that is running you on a subconscious level. You have conditioning in your body, in your cells, okay? Before your conscious mind makes a conscious decision about whether you're even going to go live, you have energy and you have a frequency in your body that is conditioned to however you were conditioned. Now, I was conditioned to actually have permission to be in front of a camera. For whatever reason, my mom, who told me that I was ugly, for all my life. I was ugly and stupid. For whatever reason, she thought that I had permission to be in front of a camera. And so that gave me actually confidence to be able to sit here regardless of whether I'm ugly or not. That's my conditioning, right? So I grew up thinking that I am ugly and that I have no value, and yet I could get in front of the camera. And that is a level of freedom that I really appreciate in myself. It doesn't matter whether I'm ugly or not, I'm going to get the job done. So that's my particular conditioning. If you have a particular condition, like a conditioning state in your mind that you know of, I would love for you to share it with me in the comments. I would love to know what's going on in your mind and what you experience. So please just write me a little note. I go back, I read all the comments, I reply to them. So please leave a comment for me. So when you are conditioned a certain way, it can show up as subconscious hesitation. It can show up as paralysis, like it can show up as overanalyzing. It can show up as perfectionism. It can show up as imposter syndrome. My point is that conditioning is subconscious, and before you even hit that button, it's going to be determining how much anxiety you have in your body. Now, you know, making sure that you have perfect lighting, making sure that the filter is perfect, making sure that the angles are perfect, that can become your focus when you are conditioned by this old baloney that we were brought up with. It makes you hyper focus on things that don't matter. I just shared with you that I have freedom, even though I might on the inside see myself as an ugly little beast. It doesn't matter. I will still get in front of the camera because there's a job that must be done. And the conditioning to get the job done is stronger than the conditioning to hide myself as I did, when I was young. And granted, I have come to terms, by the way, my friends, with my looks. I embrace my looks. I now understand that beauty is a spectrum, and I appreciate how I look. It's not a question of whether I am beautiful or not. It is a question of, well, honestly speaking, there is no question. I'm getting the job done. I'm getting the job done regardless. And yes, there was a time when it mattered. Now it just doesn't matter. All right. So my point is that your subconscious mind could be acting on this kind of old conditioning, old beliefs, old mindsets that you're carrying, and those things are not uh, fair to you. You don't deserve that, right? You don't deserve to be locked in small thinking. That is a small thinking identity that is inhabiting your body, inhabiting your mind, and it's costing you. It's making you invisible. It's making you unable to carry as much as you deserve. It's keeping your audience small and limited, right? Okay, so I have 3 tips for you, my friend. Okay, these are 3 tips that I put together to help you just get over whatever is in your mind and just show up. Just show up. Just do it. I should have said my first tip is just focus on the work, because that's kind of like my own personal unique experience. Like, it doesn't matter what you look like, just show up anyway. Just do the job, focus on the job. Okay. Now, I guess that should be my first tip. That's the bonus tip. All right. So my first tip is that I want you to stop performing, like stop thinking of your video your video sessions as some kind of a performance, like you have to get up here and perform, like you have to get this right, you have to do this, you have to dance, you have to do cute faces. No, you don't have to do any of that. No performance, right? I want you instead to look at this as if it is a conversation, okay? The camera is not a stage. It is a one-to-one conversation with the one specific woman on the other side of the screen who needs exactly what you have. Whoever is watching me right now, you are that one. I cannot see you, but I know you're there. I know you're there because I got some statistics that say you were there. Okay. And great. I get messages that say, hey, Crystal Lynn, I'm here. I saw you when you did this. Right? Excellent. Okay. So there are people there. There's person there. One person is all you need to be thinking about. Think about that one person on the other side of the screen and what they need. You have what they need. The coaches who hold attention are not the ones who are doing the most entertaining things. They are the ones who make the viewer feel genuinely seen and spoken to, and who create the experience of being in a direct personal conversation with someone who understands their situation. And the thing that I want you to understand is that this is, when you start thinking like this, you pick like the one specific person that you really want to help, and you just focus on them, your ideal client, right? That's the person whose situation you understand better than she understands it herself. Why? Because you studied it. She's living it, but you lived it and studied it. So you talk to her. Don't even talk to the camera. You talk to her. Right now, I know my ideal client. I know who she is. And when I chose this topic, I chose it for her. I did not choose it for anybody else. Didn't care about anybody else. I chose it for that ideal client who has issues with showing up on camera. That's what the topic is, okay? That person has issues showing up on the camera. That's who this is for. It ain't for anybody else. Oh, but I'm great on camera. Good. Good for you. This is not for you. But you can enjoy it, okay? You can enjoy it. But this is for the woman who is in her midlife and who has issues getting in front of the camera, freezes up, all that kind of thing, okay? All right, let's go to my tip number 2. I want you to get in front of a mirror and get comfortable with your own face, okay, every day. You know, I do Korean skincare. I have a Korean skincare routine. It takes me about 15 minutes every single night to do this skincare routine. And I sit there with my serums. I take off all the makeup. And then I sit there with my serums and I run my light. I have a red light. I do the red light. No, first I do the blue light. And then I do the orange light. And then I do the green light. And then I do the red light. And I layer the serums in. And the reason I do that, well, number one, it does great things for my skin. If I could show you my skin right now, look, we're on a camera and I'm wearing makeup and the light is pretty good. My skin is great since I use Medicube. Look, I was thinking I need to be doing some Medicube videos. I need to become one of their ambassadors. I'm a Thorne ambassador, by the way. Love Thorne products. I'm a Thorne ambassador. You're going to be seeing some videos from me about Thorne because their products are high quality. And when you are over 40, you need some high quality products. You cannot play around with what you're putting in your body. You need those high quality herbs and spices. All right. Anyway, let me get back on track. The point is that spending time with my face and doing my serums is a way of me nurturing my face. And look, I also do inner work as well. I wake up in the morning, it's meditation. I go to bed at night, it's meditation, it's prayer. Like this is a process. But then every day I got to take that makeup off. I'm going to sit there with my face and I am developing a new relationship. I no longer even see myself as ugly, which is so funny because I'm 56 and I don't even now see myself as ugly, but I saw myself as ugly when I was in my 20s and, had all the collagen in the world, okay? So interesting because it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter whether you're pretty or not. It just is what it is. It's all about the relationship. Anyway, most women, I think, over 40 are encountering their own camera, their own face in the camera for like the first time, really. And I think it's shocking. You remember when you first heard your voice on a tape recorder, like a tape recorder? You see how old I am? I remember the first time I heard my voice on a tape recorder, I was like, is that what I sound like? Oh my God, I'm so nasal. Oh my God, I don't even like my voice. I hate my voice. But it takes time, and you need to give yourself some time to actually allow yourself to um to be with your face on the camera. It's a different face. The face in the mirror looks different than the face on the camera. Cameras distort you. Lighting can be weird. Like I have these two bright white lights. It's what I have. I didn't know how to, can't figure out how to change it. Can't really be bothered to change it. I'll get around to changing it when I get around to it, okay? But my point is, the face in the camera, I'm looking right now, that face is not the same face that I see in the mirror. So it's shocking. And I want you to understand that you too look different in the camera versus on in the mirror. And even then, the face that you see in the mirror is two-dimensional. You are a three-dimensional person. So your face doesn't look you don't know what your face looks like. You have no idea of how the world perceives your face. There's so much more light because you have depth, right? You have depth. Because you have depth to your face, you actually have contours, and it's an adventure in your face. But when you look in that mirror or you look on this camera, it's two-dimensional. And it's just like looking at a drawing of yourself versus the real thing. You don't get to see all that. Although a drawing would be a better representation than just looking in the mirror. So my whole point is that you don't know what your face really looks like. You don't know how we see you. But you deserve time. You need to get over the shock of seeing yourself move, of seeing yourself speak, and seeing yourself in a way that you aren't trained to see yourself, right? I think that is very disorienting. Like the amount that I move my hands around when I talk. I had no idea. All of I remember the first time I move my hands around when I talk, but I also move my eyes around. I remember seeing a video and I could have sworn my eyes were like all over the place. I was looking over there, I was looking over there. I was just all over the place. And I thought that was the weirdest thing. And then my body proportions are weird, It's just you need time, my friend. You need time to adjust to seeing yourself, and you deserve that time. But don't beat yourself up. Because look, after you've done it 30 times, you're going to be like, whatever, forget about it. I'm used to it now. All right. But those initial sessions that you get online and get in front of the camera, you might be disturbed, and that might scare you. You might back down and not go back in. But I want you to go back in. Just do it and stop thinking about what you look like. But I do want you to have a relationship with your face. And, spending some time on camera before you go live, like that's a thing. You could do that. You don't even have to record. You don't have to broadcast. You could just watch yourself talk. You could have a conversation with yourself. And for goodness sakes, stop being so damn serious. Laugh at yourself. Laugh at yourself. Hey, you look funny. So what? Look at yourself and say, "Ha, that's funny." You got it. I got it. I've gained 30 pounds. I came I came to California in December. I weighed 117 pounds. You know how much I weigh right now? 147 pounds, 30 pounds of weight gained. Yeah, when I look in the mirror and when I look at the camera, my face is fat. I don't even look like any of my pictures anymore. My face is fat. Okay? Fat. It ain't that fat. Whatever. It's fatter than what it was. You could see cheekbones before. I ain't got no cheekbones. I had a thigh gap. I ain't got no thigh gap right now. thighs, my thighs rub together all the way down to my knees, baby. It is what it is. You have to be able to laugh at yourself, and you have to be able to forgive yourself and to not be so damned judgmental of yourself, and stop acting like you have to be Jesus Christ walking on water. You do not. You get to be who you are. And you know what? Laugh. Laugh because it is funny. The fact that you have to go on camera all of a sudden and promote yourself and talk about yourself, that shit's funny. All right. So enjoy it. Enjoy it because it is not worth killing yourself over. So get on camera, practice your openings, practice talking, practice speeches, however you want to do it. Me, I like to go impromptu. Like I said, I write my notes beforehand and then I go live. And that helps me. I think it's fresh in my mind. I know what my topic is, right? But I want you to get used to the face that is going to show up so that when the live stream begins or you go to do the video podcast or whatever it is you're doing, you're not meeting a stranger in the lens, right? You're actually showing up as someone who has already made peace with what she looks like, and you're ready to move on to more important things like that conversation with that woman you care about, that you have the secrets that she needs. Focus on that. So, in other words, get over your face and just start focusing on the woman you want to serve or the man you want to serve, the people you want to serve, however you want to do it. Now, my last tip is to lead with the first 3 seconds. Now, okay, these metrics, okay, so just if you don't know, YouTube, Facebook, anywhere where there's video, the first 3 to 5 seconds are the most important of your video because the algorithm is going to read how long people stay on your video. If they drop off within the first 5 seconds, that's kind of a negative thing with the algorithm. So you need people to try to be in there with you for at least 3 to 5 seconds. Okay. So, in the first 3 to 5 seconds, they say that that's when a viewer is making that decision about whether they want to stay on your content for a little bit longer or whether they want to scroll. Now, again, I'm not saying that I want you to be entertaining. All right. You don't have to be performing like a monkey for three seconds. All right. But if you want to, okay, if that's what you want to do it. All right. But I do mean that your first 3 seconds really needs to make that ideal client feel immediately seen and um and 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 magnetized as much as you can. And it's not that you have to be doing something crazy or you don't have to come out with a crazy idea, but you do really want to kind of get to the point in those first 3 seconds. And you'll notice here with the spiritual business hour, my first 3 seconds are always leading with a question because I believe that questions make people stop and think. And so I After I've written everything and I know what I'm going to be doing my episode about, like I'm real clear about my 3 tips and those kinds of things, the point that I want to make, I will go back at the end and I will say, here are 2 or 3 compelling questions that I'm going to lead with. And I just start with those questions because they're calling in the people that I want to work with on this particular session. Um, Another thing that you consider is that, if you're a midlife woman coach, the names or the specific situation that your ideal client is dealing with, that's a great way to start. And the reason I say if you're a midlife woman coach, because number one, people can relate to whatever age group they're in. Like if you say Gen X or Gen Z, that's getting their attention. If I say midlife women or women over 40, that gets the attention of the people that I want. And then if I go on to describe a little bit more about the problem, and they're having that problem, then they're going to lean in a little bit more. You want people to lean in. That recognition when a person sees themselves in that thing that you just said, that is a great hook. And that has more value than any graphic or any dance move that you could make. Your people are not going to buy from you because you dance well, okay? They're going to buy from you because you saw them and you put yourself out there. So keep in mind that when a person feels seen, they stay. All right, my friend, it's time for me to wrap this up. It's beyond time. I was on a roll today, just talking and talking. But the Lionsgate portal is now. We are in the Lionsgate portal. Put yourself out there. Um, the Liberated Coach Challenge is here now. I want you to join me for the challenge. It starts Monday through Friday, 4 o'clock p.m. Pacific. We are going to be working with your future self. We are going to listen to her. We are going to do what she says. We're going to get her business vision. We're going to get her pathway. We are going to follow her lead. This is going to be about clearing old paradigms, old belief systems, old ideas, old habits, letting go of that old stuff that's holding you back, and then moving you forward into your future self. And we're using the power of the Lionsgate portal to help you do that. All right. So get the link in the comments. I look forward to seeing you. I'm going to go ahead and sign off now. Mwah. Bye, my friends. Bye.